Okay, let's get started. All right, good morning, everyone. I guess it's 5 a.m., so yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to AfterCut, a series about post-processing and processing post. My name is Eric Hackler, and it's been a minute since I've been on. Got a new apartment, got a new camera, new setup, new lighting. So, yeah, been a minute. Been trying to perfect the setup. We'll see where it goes. But, yeah, glad to be back on here. Glad to be doing this again. So, yeah. It's 5 in the morning. I'm doing this spur of the moment. We'll see how long the stream lasts and we'll see what I end up doing. But we'll spend a few minutes working on some photos. Anyway, so today's photos are all fog related. There's a bunch from Shenandoah National Park in Virginia that I'm going to be looking at. I've got a couple warm-ups of Richmond and the James River that I'm going to use to start off, and then we'll jump over into the fog and see what we like over there. But yeah, so that's the plan for this morning. Obviously, one of the main reasons I do this are kind of twofold. I sort of give a version of this spiel at the beginning of each stream, or at least I try to remember to. So the first reason I do this is because it's so often editing, especially post-processing of photography, it's a hugely essential part of photography today, of digital photography, but it's also really rarely talked about, and when it is talked about, it's usually way behind a paywall. So that's one of the main reasons I do this, is I want to make this free and open and share this for everyone. Additionally, I want this to be a conversation. I want to share my expertise, but also hear from you. If you're watching, if you have questions or comments about what I'm doing, about why I'm doing it, by all means, please feel free to jump into chat. I love educating. I love this to be a dialogue as much as it can be. And that being said, if you are a creator, if you spend any part of your day making art, please feel free to drop a link to your work in the chat, in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. As much as this is my platform, I want it to be yours, to be ours. So do that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you want to support the channel, you can always go to my website, erichackler.com/photography. And from there you can check out my Etsy store, where you can order prints, or if you can check out my portfolio, and if you want to order a print off of there, let me know and you can contact me and we can make that happen. I got prints, I've got postcards, got a couple other pieces of merch. So anyway, that's the way to support me. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into Lightroom. There we go. Remember what the buttons are. Alright, so here's what we're going to start with. Also, I discovered recently you can change the background colors on Lightroom, and I think that's really cool. Stick with white for now. And if you see my eyes glancing over, it's because I'm checking the video in the stream. Okay, so this is just a shot of the James River. I guess I can show, here's a wider shot from that morning. And you can see kind of this fog sort of hovering all across the water. We may edit one of these photos a little bit later. I actually really like that one. But I wanted to start with this, because this is the one that kind of caught my attention at the moment. There's some other good ones. There's this one, which I haven't touched yet, and I really should. It's a good one. I've gone through and flagged these as the ones that I like. So, a couple more sort of foggy ones. A little bit of the bridge in there. But yeah, like I said, we're going to start here, and we're going to start by cropping out the bottom and the sides. I want to see if I can get this. Actually, that's not bad. Just going to kind of get the whole thing to almost totally white. That's not bad at all. Let's go a little further in and just make this almost a total vertical. Actually, I really like that. I'm a fan of. I've become more and more lately. I've become a fan of like very vertical portraits or photos. So, all right. So now this becomes a battle between light and texture, as it usually does. Bring the shadows up, because that's going to give me some color. We could go all the way to white, which I do kind of like. But going down means I get some of this texture in the water. So we may go back and forth on this. Let's see. Bringing the whites up is just going to be, yeah, whites are a little more aggressive, and blacks are going to be the same thing. Though bringing that down a little bit gives me a little bit of texture, and then if I bring the highlights up, there we go. That's turning into something. I can be happy about that. All right, let's come down to texture, which one of my favorites to use. All right, texture's a little bit. I'm gonna play with that in a second. Let's see what clarity does. Yeah, this is a photo. I don't think I want to do much with clarity. I actually want to bring it back a little bit and just soften. And then I'll use texture in certain spots. Let me see what this does to the water. Actually, the water's not bad with the clarity. Okay, we're gonna do that individually. I'm gonna reset that. And then dehaze is the feature specifically designed for dealing with fog, and I'm using it very last because I don't know if I want to do much with it. I think I'm going to do those on an individual basis. Okay, yeah, so that's a preliminary start. Let's see. Right, let's adjust something real quick. Let's go back to our crop. See if I can adjust my angle here. Slight adjustment, try to get that to undo that. Let me see the grid here just to check my angle. That actually doesn't look too bad. Something like that. There we go. Now I can move it. Actually, I have a little bit of room on the side here. I'm going to extend this a bit as far as I can. There we go. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's more interesting to me than just having it centered. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna bring the highlights up, and I want to start because I want to get rid of these edges. Let's see if I tell it to select subject. Let's see what it gets. I'm just gonna start playing with masking, which probably means the stream is gonna skip a little bit, but you know, live and let live. Yikes. Okay, so get rid of that. Delete that mask. That's not helping. Let's do an object select. See if I can get it that way. If not, I'm going to be doing a luminance mask. See if that can get me the tree. And this is where I'm going to skip because the object one's kind of processing intensive, and my computer is my computer. You know, that hasn't changed yet. We're still working on this thing. But let's see. Just wait for it. Oof, okay, don't like that either. Let's see. Delete that mask. Alright, let's do a range by luminance. We're gonna get our whites. There we go. Okay. Adjust that a bit so that it gets real specific. We're going to invert it. Okay. Cool. That's a good mask to have. Let's do a duplicate and invert. One of my favorites. If you're playing the streaming drinking game, take a shot. And this one we're going to pull. Something like that, because it's a lot of the. Go all the way to there, and now I want a little bit of something like that. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Use that to brighten up a little bit, which is good. Come down here to saturation. I kind of want to push that up a bit because I like the color of the tree and the color of the grass there. Clarity's not going to help me on this one. We're going to leave clarity alone. Dehaze, maybe, yeah, dehaze up a little bit. Not that much, just a bit. There we go. Something like that. Now I'd love to see if I can remove this top, but I may have to crop off the top because I really don't like the overlap back there with the trees on the other side of the river. So I may have to find a way to remove that. That's my current goal. Let's see, what can we do? I'm gonna try another object selection to see if I can get the branches at the top there. If I can get just the ones that overlap. Let me see if I can get that. We're skipping again! Yay! This is what it's all about. But yeah. Is that done masking, or no? It's still working on it. It's weird. Is it? You know, for as smart as these masks have gotten, they are not good at getting stuff like this. All right. For the sake of expediency, let's just crop that out. Let's just crop down to there. Let that be the crop down to there. I'm gonna extend it a bit more out to here. Pull it in a bit there. Yeah, I think we can work with that for sure. All right. Let's do another. We've got this mask that we've done some stuff with. We haven't done this much with this one yet. Let's work on it. And turn those highlights up and turn the whites up a bit. Extend that so we get a little more detail in there. Here, if I bring the whites up, we start getting some real overexposure there, which I don't want. Shadows up's pretty good. Yeah, something like that. Give it that really stark quality. If I get a high contrast, we're gonna get a lot more losing some stuff in the overexposure, because we do have some spots here that are overexposed intentionally. That's something I think about a lot when it comes to exposure and comes to working with photos, is the like the difference between following the rules and the fact that, like, most of the photographs, or at least most photographs that I really like in terms that have inspired me, are often not, you know, quote unquote properly exposed in some way, and I think that's an important thing to acknowledge. Okay, let's get the water. Now we're gonna up the texture and the clarity a bit. We're gonna bring the dehaze down. Yeah, I really like that. Okay. Kind of at the point we brought the shadows up as far as they can go, so we're gonna stick with that. And now we're gonna do my favorite, a big old duplicate and invert, so we can get the top. And here I want to bring that down. Bring the texture up so we keep that detail in there and get some nice color, which I really like. Could dehaze it a bit and get some darkness in there. I don't think I really want to. I think I kind of like it. Let's see, how far can I go before I get in trouble here? Yeah, let's go up to right about there. And now I've got to do a quick new mask here, just a real short thing. Getting a little bit of something up on that edge. If I zoom in here, you can see it. And I'd like to get rid of that. So we're just going to paint that in. Go up here to exposure and just overexpose it. So now it's gone, which really helps. All right, let's go back to our mask that's of the area around everything. Let's take that and let's bring our saturation down, which you're not going to notice, but it is kind of clean up a couple of spots there, which is helpful. All right, last thing to do is come down to color and start playing with that. Bring the oranges up to a kind of uncomfortable degree. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to bring the reds up, though. Reds are going to be more subtle, and they're going to enhance what the orange has already done. Yellow? Nah, I'm going to leave yellow and orange pretty much alone. Magenta, anything at play here? A little bit of magenta on the edges because we're getting some color fringing, which is fine. We've got color against stark white, so we're going to pull that down. Same with purple. I wonder if red's actually causing a problem there. Nah, not as much. It's a little bit of something, but not much. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. Come back. Bringing the orange up a little bit, because I do like that. Alright, let's come down here to magentas and... Let's see, you're really not seeing much of a detail there in the magentas and purples, which is actually good, because it's not means it's not having a huge effect. I just had a near heart attack. I looked over and thought my mic had gone mute, which I don't have my usual crew to tell me when they can't hear what I'm saying. Alright, got anything playing in green? No, not really. Anything in blue? If we were going to have something in the water, that's where it would be. A little blue down there? Yeah, there's a little blue down there. Let's get rid of that. I think that pretty stark. Let's turn the blues and the aquas down. Oop, let's come back to here. There we go. If we turn the blues down, you'll see we get a little more texture in the water down there. If I go blue up and blue down, you see the texture in the water shows up, which is good. We like that. Aqua, probably not going to do much, if anything, but it might do something, so we're going to give it a little there. Yellows, oh, we push the yellows up, we get a little more interesting contrast up there. It doesn't look like just a block of orange. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's push the yellows up a little bit. Give us a little more interesting detail in there, a little more color contrast. The thing I love, and I've talked a lot about the fact that is my bracelet making too much noise. Yeah. I've talked a lot about how I love my photography to focus on to feature relationships. And this photo isn't my favorite example of it. It's a reflection, which is just kind of pretty and a little bit like artsy graphic-y kind of way. But one of the things that makes relationships really interesting to me is the contrast, and the fact that if you put two things in the same photograph or next to each other, or two, and this can be two colors, this can be two elements, this can be two whatever. You put things next to each other, the differences are going to stand out, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Also, the things that are similar will stand out. But my point is, I like that as a... red's doing very little. We're going to turn it up a little bit. But I like that as a... one thing about relationships is like, let me put, even on a small scale, let me turn the yellows up so they're a little bit different from the oranges. And so you get... By doing that, we now have a little more color contrast going on down here, where you've got the orange, the more orange leaves sticking out from the more kind of sandy stone there. And by doing that, we now notice both a little better. Makes them both stand out because we've given some contrast. I like how that photo looks. I'm a fan of that. So we're gonna give it 3 stars, which is my usual rating for this thing is done. And yeah, we're gonna move ourselves back into let's see. Remember what I assigned my buttons to. There we go. Back into my library. And we're going to go to Big Branch Falls, which is out in Shenandoah. And take a look at some of these photos that I took while I was out there. Here's one of the first ones I've edited. Just foggy, moody shot going through the mountains. Let's go back to the library here, and we can choose some photos. Does that kind of click into color? So so the Big Branch Falls is this little waterfall. Not necessarily a waterfall, but it's a waterfall. Or a couple good shots. Let's take a look. Let's jump into the Develop tab. I haven't gone through all these, so this is going to be a little bit of me sort of flying by the seat of my pants in terms of choosing the right photo to work on. But let's see. We're also going to sort of tap through and rotate these as we go so that I can plan out which ones I'm going to go through next time. So this is the waterfall. Something I like about that, but it's not great. It's not exactly where I want to go with this. This is kind of the beginning of my choosing photos. There's a fun idiom that everyone can take a photo of a place, but if as a photographer you want to try to take photos about the place, and kind of try to capture, at least to me, try to capture what it feels like to be there. I like that one. Let's go into flag. That one as well. Actually, that one's a little better. Where's the reset button? Is it this one? Yes. That one's better. Let's flag that. Rotate. getting somewhere with some of these. And this is an interesting thing because I've gone through and deleted some of the bad photos, but I've still haven't done that with everything. And so there's 150 photos in this, and you're getting to see kind of my process of like, yeah, let's take pictures of every little thing and do it again and again and again until I sort of feel like I've explored the idea to its fullest. Let's see. No, let's go back to the library. I feel like I want to explore a little more of the shots of fog over the mountains. I think that's slightly more interesting to me, right at the moment at least. Which would be, yes, I found this cool lake on my drive out, and I haven't played with too many of these pictures yet, but let's go ahead and jump into develop, rotate. Yeah, something about that just caught my attention. A bunch of these similar kind of thing. Couple practice shots. Here we go. Okay, now we're talking fog in the mountains. Let's play with this. I love this. I love how this branch is just framed by that fog. We're gonna 100% flag that one as one to work on. Let's see what else we got. Any other ones here? Oh man, that needs to be rotated. And this is the thing I love about this is I hadn't gotten a chance to play too much with shooting fog in the mountains before, and this is cool because it's constantly developing and changing. Like you can just see the way the fog rolls in and changes the what's visible and what isn't in various ways. Like this one's gonna be interesting if we just take all the bright and just let it be a whisper of something there. Let's see, what's the next one look like? Slightly more refined versions. I like the second one, but I also like the first one a lot as a fun experiment. But let's go ahead and start with, where's the one that I flagged? This one. Yeah, let's start with this one. There's something really, really nice about this. I think I want this as a 4x5. Let's bring this down so that our tree is sort of our centerpiece here. I don't know. If I come down and make the tree the center, there's something there. You know what? I'd like to add a shot, and we're going to adjust the crop from here because I want to unlock that. Lose the grid. Again, the grid's helpful to sort of, if I want to line things up on the thirds, if I'm trying to go for photos that are classically pretty. Right now, I just want to edit. I want to let this photo tell me what it wants to be. What I want it to be. It's almost a 1-to-1, isn't it? No, it's decidedly not. It's pretty close to a 4x5, actually. It's almost exactly one. All right. We'll stick with this for now. We'll see what it ends up looking like as I edit. It's the great thing about editing and about digital creations is that I can edit and come back to it and see what happened with it. Okay. So as you can see, there's a little bit of information in there. If I bring the highlights up, if I bring the highlights down, you can see there's a little bit going on. I don't have anything overexposed. Let's put the highlights back. Do I have anything overexposed? No. This is actually a well-exposed photograph. Now I'm going to mess with it. Okay. Now this one's going to have... Yeah, that's the weird thing about working with fog, is that it's weirdly delicate to preserve the balance between brights and darks. Alright, step one, black and white this photo. Step one, first step. Oh, second, no, never mind. See, this is how you develop it. Okay. Clarity's pretty good. Clarity's giving us something without taking away too much of the fog. A little bit of the fog, but not much. Texture is kind of taking away some of the fog. We're going to save that for masking. And then dehaze, if I crank that up, there we go. That's what it looks like without. And then if I go the other direction, I'm just going to turn the whole thing white real fast. So a little bit of something there isn't bad. Let's start with that. crop a little more. Alright. Yeah, I want to dehaze a little bit, and then I'm going to undo that in a second. Okay. Now this time I'm going to go with a radial gradient. And I'm just going to get the tree. I'm going to start with that, just that spot. This feathering is going to be all the way up because I want this to be soft. I'm going to invert it. There we go. I'm going to widen this one out a little bit, actually. I'm going to keep it right about there. Just expand this. Out like that. There we go. Something about like that. Cool. So now we got everything else. And here's where I won't feel bad adding some of that fog back in. And lowering the texture, but I don't want to exactly. Bringing the clarity down a bit. Trying to preserve that delicate balance of fog. There we go. Am I overexposing anything? A little bit at the top. That's okay. I'm actually not getting anything by doing it, so let's bring that back down. Actually, let's bring that up. I like having that river of fog back there. Now we're okay. Cool. So now we'll do our duplicate and inverts. Now we're going to get the tree. And here's where... Yeah, the shadows aren't doing things. Bring the blacks down. There we go. But let's try it with texture and clarity first. Texture might be, in a weird way, all I need. It kind of is. Wow, okay. Yeah, clarity's overdoing it. And dehaze is definitely going to overdo it. Yeah. Something like that isn't bad. It's not quite telling the story I'm ready for it to tell, but it's a good start. Let's go down to color. Let's play with color a little bit on this one. Yeah, it's actually not bad at all. Let's go back to this one. That's our kind of fog one. And turn the exposure up just a bit. Let's go back. Let's do 0.35. There we go. Good. That brightens everything else up, gives us a little more of that fog, but also gives us keeps the tree centered and looking good. Let's come down to our colors. Actually, let's play with saturation and vibrance first. This might be... Nah, vibrance is too much, and saturation is going to be... Actually, saturation's not bad there. That might also be something for the masks. Bring the saturation up on my one tree in the middle. No, I can't push the color really at all until I get down to the color sliders. Now, if I come to here and I bring the saturation down... There we go. Gives us that little bit of extra something. Alright, color sliders. Once again, orange is a really powerful color, and I really like how that looks coming through. Let's put this, just for fun, let's put the saturation back out here. So that the orange can kind of suffuse through the whole thing. Alright, reds. Doing a little bit, mostly doing it on the outskirts, not doing a whole lot in the middle. So we're going to leave that kind of down. Yellows. Yellows are going to brighten up too much. Yellows are going to look a little bit greener. So we're going to pull them back, just like that. Greens. Greens are mostly lighting up this tree up here. I want to turn that down, and also I want to push it. Actually, if I turn it up and then push the green to yellow, nah, that doesn't look great. Let's just turn the greens down. That's a thing we can do. Aquas. If there's any aquas here, they're going to be in the fog. Blue as well. If there's any blue, it's going to be in the fog. Maybe a little bit on the tree trunks, but not really doing anything. Magentas and purples. Not really doing much on this one. Let's turn them both down. See the magenta do anything? No, not really. Also, by the way, I haven't mentioned this. I got a Wacom tablet that I'm not editing with, but as I go through this, some streams I'm going to be using the stylus and using that to sort of control what I do on here, but not tonight. I'm sticking with the mouse for tonight. Okay. This is starting to look pretty good. Let's come down here to our color sliders and start playing with that. Okay, that's kind of cool, actually, bringing the orange all the way down. Usually I don't like min-maxing the luminance ones, or at least not the orange ones. That actually looks pretty cool. But also, if I go all the way up, that also looks pretty haunting. I don't have a problem with either of those. Yellow. All the way down with yellow kind of diminishes the fog, but gives you this kind of haunting pattern to it. I'm actually really liking all of these. This could be an interesting, like, 4-photo collage. That's cool. That's actually really nice. Turn the yellows all the way up, and then if I turn the oranges down, now you're getting a pattern. And you're getting some kind of this little haze where the oranges are and the yellow, or the yellows are and the oranges aren't. That's something. I'm gonna stick with that for now. Let's see how well this goes. Turn the green up so that it sort of blends in a little more and looks a little haunting. Orange again, or not orange, aqua, not really in play. Blue, same deal. Really no blue in this photo. And you can kind of see from up here. I forgot I can adjust things from up there. Yeah, from up here on the histogram, you can kind of see that there's not a whole lot. Like, there's a lot of green, and so up here, there's not a lot of. But the blues are mostly down at the bottom, and that's fine. And then purple and magenta. Really not doing much. Leave them both alone. All right, let's come back up here to here. I want to turn my highlights and the whites. Let's come down to vignetting, which is a. Let's see, where's that hiding? Is that transform? No, it's not going to be transform. Ooh, you know, let's go to lens corrections real quick and just remove any chromatic aberrations. That'll clean up any of that weird color fringing that sometimes happens. If I enable profile correction, it's going to correct for my lens, and that's fine. This is a very long lens. I was shooting at 150 millimeters, so it's telephoto. It's going to be compressing. There's not going to be a huge change when I turn that feature on. Effects. That's what I'm looking for. Post crop vignetting. I'm going to push that up a little bit, just to sort of, let's see, add a little bit more haze to it around the edges. Keep the roundness up, and then the feathering. Yeah, I like having the feathering up a lot. Cool. Alright, I think I want to do that one more time. Let's see. New mask. What's the best way to do this? A couple of linear gradients. Let's see if I just do a square on the outside. Okay, so we're going to do a linear gradient coming out like this. And just really... just the edge, just like that. Now we're going to turn not the highlights, the whites. There we go. Push the whites up a little bit. Just to sort of lose that hard edge on the side if I can. That's what I'd like to do. There we go. Push the shadows up, push the blacks up a little bit. And yeah, now I'm certainly overexposed on the edges. And I'm okay with that, actually. I don't think it's too much of an issue for me right now. Come down to dehaze. Oh, there we go. It's actually better. Put the whites back. There we go. Just a little bit. Like that. We'll do a little bit of the whites. There we go. Just to get that white edge totally gone. And now we're going to add to this with another linear gradient. Come over to this side. And we can do the same thing. Let's show the overlay so I can see. There we go. Now I want to extend this a lot so we get a nice wide feathered part, and then I'm going to come in here like that. Just adjust like that, lose the overlay. Good. Now I can come up to here. I can adjust the amount. Just the amount of both in terms of how this mask shows up. Cool, let's go back to the first one. Actually, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Yeah. There's something really cool about that. Let's get in 2 stars. I want to come back to this. I think there's multiple versions of this one that I can do. That'll be interesting. Let's do one of these lake photos, because this lake was not on my was not one of the ones I planned to take pictures at. I just, as I was driving out, I saw it, and I couldn't resist stopping and taking a photograph. Or 12. So let's see. What photo speaks to me? This one speaks to me. I like this one. I actually really like that one, depending on how much detail I get in the sky, and I think I'll get a lot. Talking about placement of the dock now. I look at this. Something there. That one's not bad. Something cool about this one. Something very cool about this one. I like that. I think I can, cropping that a little bit, I'll end up with a really nice just cloudscape going on. Ooh, yeah, there's something cool there about the angles and the reflections. Rotate this. Couple shots just getting the water line. Couple reflections. Let's see what they do. Rotate that. I already rotated this one. Now we got this one. Okay. Let's come back to the couple here that I flagged. I think this one? No, this one. No, this one's the vertical one. I like the vertical one. There we go. This will be the one to adjust. That makes the dock our subject because it's right in the middle. Let's come back into here. Let's crop this at a 4x5. Kind of give it a little bit of everything. There we go. It's looking pretty good as a start. Highlights down. Look how much detail's in that sky. Shadows up. Nah, let's let this be dark. Yeah, this is a black and white. This one's black and white for sure. I can bring the shadows up a little bit. I think I want to do those separately as specific things. Can control my level of white. I'm going to stick with that right there. Then blacks, same deal. I'm going to bring them up a little bit. No, I'm going to leave them alone. I'll come back to them. That'll be a thing I do near the end. Let's come up to clarity. I do love, yeah, no, I'm a big fan of stark clarity. Dehaze, not so much in this one. I think I want some softness there. And texture, no, that's got to be specific. Okay. So let's start doing some masking. First one. Let me tell it to get the subject and see what it does. I'm hoping it'll grab the dock. Let's see what it grabs. No, doesn't grab the dock, so delete that mask. We're going to do an object brush. An object select. And I just want... There we go. I just want that dock. Hopefully it'll give me that. The object brush is hit or miss when it comes to things like this sometimes. We talked about this last time I tried to use it. Worst case scenario, luminance mask and then an eraser. Yeah, I feel like one of the things I haven't been streaming. That's not too bad. Okay, so watch what we're going to do here. So now we've got pretty good selection there. We're going to add an object brush real quick because I want to get that guy as well. Let's see if I can get it to add that little lamp post there because we got the one on the bottom. That might actually work. We're probably okay. And then everything else looks mostly fine. So now we're going to subtract the luminance range and subtract white. And like that, we've now pretty much got our dock. Actually, in really good shape, we've got our dock. Excellent. So now I can bring the shadows up on that. The blacks down a bit. And now that gives us a little more detail in that. I can also bring the texture up on it if I want to, which will help sharpen it as well a little more and help keep that the center object in the photo. Clarity, doing a little but not a whole lot, and then dehaze is just going to darken it or make it white, which I don't want to do. Though making it totally white, there's something kind of cool about that. Something very cool about that. Shotgun that idea. Hold on to that. Okay. Let's come back to here real quick and just let me see the grid. That's looking pretty good. We're pretty much centered. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Coming back in, let's do a new mask. Sky select. sometimes the sun actually gets the sky and gets the reflection. We'll see if it does both. That'll be kind of cool. Nope, just the sky. That's fine. All right. So, what can I do to get some detail in there? Clarity is a good one. It's always a good one. Dehaze overdoes it. I bring that down a bit. Actually, looks pretty cool. A little bit of something there. Taking the texture out. We're cranking the texture up. I like the texture up there. Ooh, I got a spot on my lens. Okay. Texture up there. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna clean up this little spot right here. This healing brush is there. Go a little bigger. Go to the erase brush, and just pop. And it will auto get rid of it. Usually. There we go. Nice and easy. Got to clean my sensor. Alright. Now it's going to complain that it wants to adjust to update that mask, which is this one. There you go. Anytime you change anything, it's going to complain about wanting to update the mask. Not that it's really changing anything. Yep, sky's still the same sky. There we go. Cool. Alright. Now let's do... I have an idea. Luminance. I want that area. Okay. Yeah, lose the dark stuff. Okay. I think I can work with that. So then we're going to subtract the sky, which will do that for us. And we're going to subtract with a linear gradient right here. And we're going to clear off the beach. Just like that. Nope. Then we're going to move it. We're going to feather that out a little bit and pull it back down just like that. There we go. And then subtract with a brush finally, just to get rid of the rest of the sky out here. Turn the density all the way up. I'd like to get everything out of there. There we go. Alright. And that leaves us basically with just the light part of the water, which I can then adjust with some clarity. Can dehaze going the other direction this time. Actually... Nah. Dehaze by going the other direction just a little bit. In this case, texture is not doing us any favors, so we're going to leave texture alone. Oop. Come back up to here. Let's see. Highlights and shadows, contrast coming down. Just that little bit of detail there, but it's like keeping the whole thing bright so the docks, it looks like it's floating in the middle, and definitely is what draws our eye. But then also giving that little bit of detail to make it look pretty. But now I want to come back up to my sky mask here. What masks do you want updated, bro? None of these. Okay, you leave that alone. We're gonna ignore that. Ignore this red dot over here. Nobody likes it. All right, back to our sky mask. Let's brighten the sky up a bit. Texture, stay where it is. There we go. There we go. Turn the shadows all the way up. That might something about this isn't exactly right yet. That's better. Bringing the blacks up. Now I'm noticing the dock first when I look at the thumbnail. That's what I want. Yeah, I like that. All right. Let's do a little more. Let's get a linear gradient down here on the beach and do kind of the same thing we did for the water's edge. Yep. Extend that out. Bring this down. Just like that. Extend that a little more. There we go. Which of these helps with the photo? That helps, I think. It's a little bit much, though. Texture distracts. Let's pull the texture back. Yeah. That's better. Brightening it up like that with the dehaze. That's the trick. Okay. On that edge. Bringing the texture up is not helping, and bringing the clarity up is going to just draw attention to it. Bringing the clarity down is going to draw attention away from it in a bad way. So, something like that. Come up here. Turn the highlights up a bit, but I don't want to adjust the brightness too much because this edge is not perfect, and non-perfect edges tends to be kind of where you're going to end up with with noticing the color difference when you adjust that. So let's leave that where it is. Shadows. Just in the shadows does very, very little. That's really does something. Let's bring them up. Let's keep them up like that. It's cool. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's come down to our color adjustments. Again, a little bit of contrast in the trees isn't bad. Let's see what orange does. I think I like the orange better. Red's doing nothing. Let's do my lens corrections real quick. I'm on a wider lens here. So chromatic aberrations and lens correction. It's going to brighten up my edges, which is excellent for this photo. Let's go back up to this mask here. And for now, we're going to turn it off because it is not helping. Back down to color. Green, a little bit green. Let's bring that up a bit. That's a good one. Bring our, yeah, there we go. Now we want to bring my yellows up because it's brightening this area. Now it's better to do that with color, I realize, which is excellent. Aquas? No, not in play. Blues. In the sky and in the water. Leave them alone. They're getting in the way. Purples and magentas. A little bit way in the back. Let's darken. Magenta. Not really in play at all. And then red. A little bit of red. Let's get that. Let's bring that dark. Cool. I like how that came out. I think that's an interesting looking photograph. I think it's... I know my sky's a little noisy. Let's denoise that sky. Come down here to my noise thing, crank that up, and that will smooth over the noise in the sky. Loses a little detail, but it's not too bad for a photo like this. I'm actually pretty okay with that. And then, yeah, we look at our dock, which is just our excellent subject. And this is, yeah, the thing about this photo is we're looking at, you know, as we talk about relationships and contrast, the story here is the relationship of the dock to the rest of nature. Everything else, I mean, this is almost definitely a man-made lake, but mostly because Virginia has very few naturally occurring lakes. It's very weird. Almost all the lakes in Virginia are man-made. This is a man-made lake, but the only thing kind of specifically human in this is this dock, where with the trees and the mountains and the clouds and the water line, the rest of it is natural. So by having the dock center and by having it dark against this white background, you end up like that contrast highlights the relationship between the dock and the water by extent the water is reflecting the sky. So now we're looking at the contrast between the dock and the water and the sky, and then the trees and everything else kind of adds into that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I really, really like how that photo came out. Okay, let's finish off the night by doing a water shot, because it feels weird to say I'm doing that and then not do that. Here's some of the other ones, looking the other direction from the waterfall. What's this one? I'm doing upside down shots. Okay, let's flip this up. Let's flip this right side up. That's not bad. Got a couple good ones there. But let's do. Let's see, what have I got that's a good landscape shot? You know what? This photo is kind of speaking to me. This one's got some good detail to it. Which one's better? This one or that one? Nah, I think I like this one better. All right, so this is the photo we're gonna work on, and I'm gonna play with some vignetting here. I could do a black and white version. Nah, I like the color. Lose the HDR. That's not what we're doing. We're doing color. All right. So let's bring the shadows up. The shadows are going to bring in a whole lot more color to this, which is excellent. Clarity, we're going to be more specific about that. Dehaze. No, not really. I don't think dehaze is where I want to go with this. Texture, going to be specific. Going to be specific with texture and clarity. Here's a weird thing. I don't normally start with this. I'm going to come down and start with my effects and put a vignette on this, because I know I want my focus to be the waterfall and this little curve of rock here and kind of following the stream. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I want to see. Okay, chromatic aberration and lens correction. See, in the lens correction, this is on a wide lens, so you'll notice a much bigger change in that. Go back down to vignetting. I'm going to turn that vignette up even more, just like that. Cool. All right, let's come back up here and start playing with some of our effects. Yeah, let's play with our effects. All right. So I'm gonna do what do I do in terms of texture and clarity? Texture. Okay, I know where I want the texture. I think I'm almost positive. Clarity. Kind of the same deal. I don't want everything clarified. I want certain things. And then dehaze. You know, dehazing up for this actually is pretty good. Dehaze is bringing out the color pretty nice, so I'm going to brighten certain areas. So let's go ahead and do, let's see, how do I get this thing to do what I want to with texture and clarity? Let's find out. This will be interesting. Let's try color range, because I want all these rocks. Okay. Let's pull back on. To start, let's add a luminance range and get the underside of these rocks, which will give me a lot of dark spots, which I can then push off kind of like that. I wonder if it's better just to do this with the color sliders. Honestly, it might be. Alright, we're going to leave that mask alone for a minute. Actually, hang on, let's go back to that mask. That's giving me the clarity that I want for these things, and I think the texture as well. And I can come through and selectively remove a lot of that. Yeah, we're going to be specific with that. But let's go down to color for a second. That's going to make a difference here. I feel like orange. Yeah, look at what orange brings to this photo. Orange, and I mean, orange and blue is a bit of a cliche, but something really cool about how this thing kind of handles that. If I turn it, let's see. Oh, there's something nice about the stark brightness of that. There we go. Let's see. What's yellow? Yellow's not doing much for us, so let's take the yellow out. Green, little bits of green. Let's pull that. Let's push that up and then go up to our hue slider and push our green all the way to yellow. Nope, that doesn't look great. Let's get rid of it. We know what aquas and blues are doing. Purples, a little bit in the rocks. Let's turn that down. Magentas, not really in play. That's fine. Send them down. And red, same deal. Doing a little bit. Let's turn them up. Let's keep them there. Then we'll turn the brightness of them up as well. Purples and magentas. Magenta's really not doing much on this one. Cool. I like how that is coming together. Let's play with it a little bit more. Come back to this mask we have here. Let's see the overlay so I can see exactly what I'm working with. And then we're going to subtract with a brush with a flow of about 30%. There we go. And if you're new to this, flow is the flow is effectively how much paint is on the brush, quote unquote. So actually, just gonna flow it back all the way up because that's easier to work with. There we go. Yeah, flow is effectively how much paint is on your brush. So if you are removing things with a flow, with a low, if you lower the flow, you're going to see the overlay here. There we go. That's coming. That's what I want. Okay. If you've got a lower flow, you have to kind of run over something more than once with the brush to get it to really do what you want. Yeah, that's fine. You can redo that. I have built-in buttons for that. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing it this way? Now remember, this is just texture and clarity. This isn't actually doing a whole lot with brightness or anything. So all I'm doing is just sort of cleaning up my edges. Just like that. There we go. Yeah. There's something really nice about that. Let's go back down to my vibrance. Sorry, my blue. Let's go back to saturation. There we go. Bring up those oranges really nice, just like that. Now I'm going to come back down to my color sliders. Let's see. Too much saturation there. Blacks down a bit. Sorry, a bit. You know what? Never mind. That looks pretty excellent and moody kind of on its own. You've got by vignetting it, and I know it's kind of a cheap trick, but I really like it. By vignetting it, I'm getting this nice curve kind of helping focus our attention there. Actually, let's go back to this mask. And let's go back to our subtract brush. Let's get rid of this top up here. New mask, linear, please. Come on, there we go. Once again, a lot of feathering. Right up here on the edge. There we go. Darken the sky and the woods back there. You get a little more brightness in here. Do I want to adjust the crop on this at all? Because I kind of haven't. I'm wondering if I do. Let's turn that off. I really don't want any help on this one. I'll bring this in a little bit. Just to, that waterfall needs to be center. That waterfall's better center. Let's keep it like this. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's very fall. Yeah. I also really like the reflection of the waterfall that you get here. I haven't seen a whole lot of photo of waterfalls where you can get a shot where you can see the reflection. I got a couple more that like later down that really highlight that. I think this is gonna be the photo that ends up on the thumbnail. But yeah, okay. I think that's the photo I want to end tonight on. So thank you for being part of my first stream back. We'll see if I can start doing this a little more regularly and mixing it up between film and photography. Hopefully I'll get some more pictures. That'll be fun. Got some new lights and a new setup I want to install, so we'll see where that goes. But, yeah, for now, this is what I'm going to end on. So let's go back to me. So thank you. Thank you for joining me for my first stream back. Thank you for being part of this. As always, like I said, if you want to support me or my work, erichackler.com/photography. You can see my Etsy store. You can see my portfolio there. And anything you see that you want to order a print of, either message me or order it from Etsy. The other thing I have, which I'm really proud of, are these postcards. and they're postcards. There's 4 different designs. They're all my photos from some of my favorite places in the U.S. You got Antelope Canyon, you've got Glacier Bay National Park in Alaska, you've got Natural Bridge in Virginia, and you've got Dream Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. And so they're postcards that you can then you can order, and on the back you can mail them. They've got spots for addresses and stamps and everything. The other cool thing they have is they've got a QR code on them that your recipient can scan and fill out a quick little questionnaire, and then you can add your postcard to the map of the world, and you can see where all the postcards have gone, and kind of connect with people that way in just kind of a mutual love for the cool little niches of our country. So yeah, that's also available on my website and on my Etsy store. So anyway, with all of that said, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for joining me for tonight's little kind of one-off hour of streaming. The photos we edited will be available on my website for viewing as I kind of finish putting that together. They'll be available on my Vero and on my Instagram, which are both Vero is Checker Liar, Instagram is Twisted in Nature. And yeah, I think that's the night. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you for being part of this. I hope hope it was entertaining, hope it was fun, and I hope that you will join again and connect more through photography and through visual storytelling, because it's amazing the what visuals and stories that we tell amazing the differences they can make when we connect with them. It's not only the photo we fall in love with, it's the story that we imagine. So hopefully we can connect through some storytelling. Anyway, with that, be safe, be well, be kind, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.